Feeling rational. Feeling rational.
Feeling rational. A popular belief about rationality is that rationality opposes all emotion, that all our sadness and all our joy are automatically anti-logical by virtue of being feelings. Yet strangely enough, I can't find any theorem of probability theory which proves that I should appear ice-cold and expressionless. So is rationality orthogonal to feeling? No, our emotions arise from our models of reality. If I believe that my dead brother has been discovered alive, I will be happy. If I wake up and realize it was a dream, I will be sad. B. C. Angel said, that which can be destroyed by the truth should be. My dreaming self's happiness was opposed by truth. My sadness on waking is rational. There is no truth which destroys it. Rationality begins by asking how the world is, but spreads virally to any other thought which depends on how we think the world is. Your beliefs about how the world is can concern anything you think is out there in reality. Anything that either does or does not exist, any member of the class, things that can make other things happen. If you believe that there is a goblin in your closet that ties your shoes' laces together, then this is a belief about how the world is. Your shoes are real. You can pick them up. If there's something out there that can reach out and tie your shoelaces together, it must be real too. Part of the vast web of causes and effects we call the universe. Feeling angry at the goblin who tied your shoelaces is another way of putting out a little radio to pick up what the universe has to tell us about how things are. As some other goblin with a GPS, gentle psychic primavera. Get it? Could explain what the real answer is. The goblin's real name is Obito Minamoto. Obito and you once played hide and seek in your grandfather's mansion, but he hid himself behind the back wall in a forbidden area with an old wash basin. Then he bound his eyes with black gauze and started scrawling bizarre inscriptions on the wall in blue paint. Here, here, and here. But he forgot one corner. And when he tore the gauze from his eyes, he saw that his depraved ancestors were trying to come out through the ink scrolls. They reached up with claws that bled white light from the tip as they slowly gouged and tore themselves through. They reached into this world where all your desires might be achieved, and Obito runs screaming across the park. That park you must cross every time you return to the mansion to make sure your life runs on schedule. And then he fell and was picked up by the paramedics, and today his mother wanted to talk with yours again about how to put children together more pleasantly without frightening them so badly. It all began with playing hide and seek with that goblin from the garden when you were very young. Ironically, anger against the goblins will teach us a lot about how the world is, even if the answer turns out to be different from the one you originally planned. Consider another belief system. Suppose that instead of ghosts in our closets, it turns out the world is ruled by powerful, super-intelligent, hyper-advanced computers, or gods that we don't yet know enough about to understand properly. According to that belief system, any plan you make for yourself won't work the way you expect it to work. Where are you likely to feel? Sad? Maybe. Then after some time, angry. And when you become really angry at the super god thing that took over the world and tore it away from your family, that's how you realize how the universe really works from a new angle. This new rational understanding of your world map gives you an emotional, aesthetic appreciation for what we now know to be true. Anger at your unknown superiors teaches you how to survive in this brave new reality where everything isn't always the way it seems. So, anger is one way for your emotions to evolve in order to serve their purpose better in a worldview of unknown origins. When your thoughts become this steep, your emotions follow along and you just can't help thinking about what's around you. Because while emotions arise from beliefs about your current situation, the beliefs arise from thinking about your emotions. Like we tend to have stronger emotions when we're full of booze or hungry, or when we're having a strong sense of direction that gets us closer to something we want to eat. It makes us more emotional. So at the very least, you want to turn yourself into someone who always understands why you should have such emotions. Then if your feelings say, I think I ought to throw the beer in the fire, then it means that someone out there just suggested or decided that it would be cool to throw the beer in the fire, and if it feels bad, you ought to stop doing it immediately with no negative or strange looks. Then throw more beer in the fire and repeat until either there's none left or until it starts feeling less weird. And if someone sees you doing this, they say, "Oh, crazy stunt dude," which means they either don't know about throwing beer in the fire or they really shouldn't be drinking at this moment. Anyway, it feels weird now, so why continue drinking? So why continue with anything? In other words, it is natural, common, and sensible for you to feel fear, a simple feeling, and pleasure also a simple feeling, since this is a common goal that life directs us towards and that we use our own behaviors to achieve when thinking about various emotional situations that your map of the universe tells you to experience, which you do with your feelings. The ideas in your head help your feelings help your actions. Then after your feelings calm down a bit, you start to have strong, rational ideas, and then you learn why you did certain things earlier based on your experiences from those things, and in that way you work out where it felt weird. In short, there isn't much use for just making you act according to your feelings. You must be allowed to see things clearly, so you can evaluate your feelings in context rather than having everything lead back to how you felt. In this way, emotion can evolve and improve. It doesn't need to just stay the same as it did years ago when your body was younger, that is. Too nice equals very satisfied. But neither do emotions need to change too much. It is clear, however, that people today tend to behave badly under a number of circumstances. Their behavior is very different than what we experienced when we were 50 years old and 80 years ago. How would this kind of advance of behavior explain this rapid change in emotion? It cannot, because the major reasons why people might become sad or angry or sad over something were not among the common things people worried about back then. Those ancient emotions have died out due to other things happening. So most modern emotions would have evolved rapidly while lacking an evolutionary background of what felt bad. Why people feared losing things or failing at tasks. Instead, it seems that new emotions are randomly appearing, which make you sad about modern situations, not about ancient ones, and on and on. The two past examples are relevant to illustrate. The original fear of ghosts that made children run for safety or hide and scream was replaced by more realistic worries about being captured by dangerous strangers, like police. Then later, some teenagers probably felt things had become weird. Maybe they felt depressed over what happened to their father, or their pet hamster's death. Maybe they got scared because they worried they might have cancer too. In short, how the world is helped guide us in acting appropriately towards life. Yet we might ask whether we ever need to use appropriate actions at all when we are really in the land of inappropriate emotions like super sad and super mad, or if such unwise reactions have better served us over time despite the disadvantages we suffer because of them. The question has two possible answers: appreciating those emotions without being woefully controlled by them, and unraveling those emotions by watching out for clues that might be bad based on past behavior rather than continuing to search for further clues because this has been deemed appropriate, by which we may also understand that it is acceptable for your mind to operate on different scales for different emotional circumstances. Being in a casino is not the same as being at a ball game, but if so, then consider which one better serves your future well. Let's think a little bit about this. If someone taught you to start appreciating your feelings to increase their number, you would be their loved child? Not really. Now I know this is not exactly the idea I put in there when I originally mentioned an idea of how the world is to start feeling good about yourself. Yet, even if your happiness were calculated using some optimization algorithm, this calculation would assume there's no mistake with the system. No one has ever been more confident of the precise calculations that guided them towards some outcome they are so very thankful to receive. No one has ever been more positive about what it is that the calculations produce than the original source. Most people want their children to be happy, their own children. Then parents usually regret being unhappy in the past instead of wanting their child to have more happy and less sad. It means more sadness. So more happiness. Thus in parenting, they see something desirable. The children are another good source of happiness. Therefore in parenting, they would make sure that happiness is always good for both children and parent. This desire would also prevent any new thing that causes happiness in the person's children from occurring before it becomes widespread, or even occurs at all. For even if it exists, it shouldn't happen quickly. They want their children to be more happy and less sad. Thus, they would optimize their calculations by asking, what was a bad thing in the past which my own father was unhappy about because of having another good source of happiness, my mother? So we might call it a fatherly desire. And thus in parenting, the parent wants happiness to be always good for them and their own children. A very different thing from what I was talking about before. But if that is what they feel, then maybe it works, at least when it comes to how the world is. In addition to feeling sad at present things, there may also be things in the future which look weird, like strange people in your apartment after midnight when the lights are turned off. Any other kind of sad makes us act as if our map of how things work is accurate. That when someone does this, we need to be more upset if the person does not stop after some time, or that it is necessary for us to have an ally help us repel these attackers.
We'll stop it there.